in Delta State, one that has shaken the conscience of Nigeria. On March 19, 2025, during the Aluedo festival, videos surfaced showing young women chased, stripped, and molested in broad daylight. Some of the victims, including students of Southern Delta University, reportedly required medical attention. Now, this is not just a cultural concern. This is not just a community issue. This is a human rights crisis. Because when women are attacked for simply being female, when freedom of movement becomes conditional, and when harmful traditions threaten safety and dignity, then society has failed as women. Silence is also not an option. This moment demands investigation, thorough investigation. It demands accountability, it demands justice, and it demands urgent reform of cultural practices that endanger women's lives. No tradition should stand above human dignity. No culture should justify violence, and no woman should ever be punished for existing. Women are not objects, women are not tools, women are the strength of families, the backbone of communities, and the future of every nation. Now, as Kelly Rowland reminds us, my girl, she says, we bring the glow to the sun. And today on Gender Agenda, we bring that glow, and that glow of truth, of advocacy, and solutions. As Women's Month comes to a close this March, we speak with Beatrice Ayang, country representative of UN Women to Nigeria and ECOWAS, on the urgent need to not just protect women, but strengthen accountability, ensure that incidents like Ozora never happen again. But most importantly, the International Women's Day, giving to gain. And have we given so much, and are we gaining? Well, join us live on YouTube via our AIT Live. Share your thoughts and follow us on www.genderagenda.live for more advocacy, research, and policy conversations. But remember, you can always send us your feedback on email, with your feedbacks, of course, and comments at askgenderagenda@gmail. And my name is Adora Sidney Jack. I'm your host, as always, and it's fantastic to be here with you again. But I'll be right back with the conversation. Stay with me.
All across the nations, all around the world, women are longing to be free. No longer in the shadows, forced to stay behind, but side by side in true equality. So sing a song for women everywhere. Let it ring around the world and never cease. So sing a song for women everywhere. Equality, development, and peace. Women can't be silent when all around the world people hurt and hungry children cry. We'll sing out loud for justice and development, and hold the rights of other people high. So sing a song for women everywhere. Let it ring around the world and never cease. So sing a song for women everywhere. Equality, development, and peace.
And here's our guest for today. I would like to welcome, it's fantastic to see you, and happy International Women's Day.
It's
great to see you. Please sit down. Thank you. So how has it been so far? I mean, the International Women's Day, this year's celebration, how has that come to you first?
Actually, this year, the theme has been very, very interesting. And the theme of the International Women's Day and the theme of the CSW70, they actually align. Okay. They are looking at rights, justice, they're looking at action for all women and girls. So we have had a lot of discussion. We've talked with decision makers, policy makers, our international community, the UN itself, women's organization. In fact, it's a theme that makes us to reflect. because rights actually are stemming from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And there it is actually stated that all of us are born free and equal. And so the question is, if we are born free and equal, why is it that at the 21st century, we can even be witnessing what we witnessed the past week?
The Delta State.
Yes, at the 21st century. Why is it that women and girls are actually not enjoying the rights? And the other aspect is justice. Without justice, rights is nothing. And they say justice that is delayed is actually justice that is denied. So that's why the aspect of action is very, very important. If we don't act now, it will be too late.
Okay, now talking about action, I think this now takes us straight into our next question, because in the ideal of giving to gain, you know, a lot of people jumped on this campaign, institutions across the world, young girls. Now, in your own perspective as the UN country representative to Nigeria, I mean, looking at Nigerian women's rights, any gains with the women's movement so far?
Yeah, I think in terms of gains, I think the women's movement, they have gained. We are no longer where we were. We are not yet where we want to be, but we have moved. We are somewhere.
Are we close enough?
Not very close. But I hope we were very, very close. You see, because there are different sectors that the women's movement has been active. And I want, first of all, to appreciate the Nigerian women. Nigeria is a country I admire a lot because we have very talented women, we have educated women, we have competent women, we have women who are actually demonstrating their expertise. So you see, in terms of education, I believe that we have moved. It's true we have some issues of dropout children and all those, but if you look at the population, if you look at the population, we know that we have moved in terms of education. We will still need to move. We have not yet arrived to where we are. In terms of even the rights, we have moved also. There were topics that were taboos, that you even couldn't talk about it. To talk about rape, to talk. I know people are saying, oh, it looks as if rape or those incidences are increasing. But I sometimes say we should be very careful how we conclude. Because they may be, you may think they're increasing because people are now willing to report. Women and girls are now willing to report. There are mechanisms that enable women to report. And so that's why maybe we are seeing those cases. In terms health, I think there have been some improvements. Even when we were trying to analyze how far we've gone with the, as the United Nations, we saw that even maternal mortality has reduced, but it has not reached where we want it to reach. So we in agriculture, women provide about 70% of the labor. So we have moved but as I say, we are not yet where we are supposed to be. There are still patriarchy. There are still constraints in terms of our legislations. They are not, the legislations are not making it even. It's not giving, those legislations are not giving us even ground, a fair ground for men and women, you know, to participate in the development of the country. But I would say we have made some gains.
Okay, so talking about politics, because I know you love this conversation on politics for Nigerian women. Now, there's been a lot that has been done in the past few months regarding women's political participation, needing to open the space. The reserve seats for women's bill, the special seats conversation. Now, a lot of people say it requires much more than advocacy. Some people say, are there areas that require more political will by the government when it comes to participation in politics and governance for women, rather than just rhetorics?
Yeah, what I would say, Adora, is that wherever we've seen gender equality progress, it has been a combined effort between women and men. It has been the political will of the leaders. That is, the leaders are actually saying, we want this to happen, it will happen. Like I take an example, for the UN at the HQ level, our Secretary General is a man, but he said he wants to see parity, and we are getting parity. So what I think is actually we need a push from our leaders. We need a push from the president, President Tinubu. We actually need his push. If he gives the push, I think others will follow. We also need issues like fair financing for campaigns. If you look at Nigeria, you see that in terms of resources, women own and manage only 10% of resources. And you cannot do politics in this country without money. So the discussion on how women's campaigns should be financed should be on the table. Either the political parties are actually going in and saying, no, we want to correct an injustice that is negating our development. So we want to correct this so that we can develop, we can have a better health, we can have better economies, we can have peace. Let's put this money to get women to where they are supposed to be. If political parties do that, they will provide a fair ground, level ground for men and women to compete. But as it is now, the women actually are also facing the aspect of financing their campaign. We are also thinking that it is also time to make the electoral process, electoral management, gender responsive. That they should reflect that we are not fighting from, we are not competing from the same level ground. There has always been in every movement that they wanted to bring equality or equity, whatever you call it, equality, they've always been what we call affirmative action. And affirmative action, they have applied affirmative action right from when they were abolishing the slave trade, right from the women's movement. So there's nothing wrong with an affirmative action, you see. So we are thinking that government should actually show its real, not just said, but real actions on the passage of this Special Seats for Women bill. And also, the gender-based violence that is involved in the electoral process is something we fear. Because I was privileged to pass through the 2023 elections. And what I saw was the violence, the level of violence. I think government should work around violence, because if we have so much violence, it discourages women candidates. I know they will say, if you say you want to compete, join us and go into the violence. But you can see other countries have actually carried out affirmative action wherever they realized there was a disequilibrium. Because development can never be sustainable until there is an equilibrium between the men and the women, the boys and the girls.
Okay, so let me come in here. I mean, like a few hours ago, I was talking to another female who was politically aligned, and she said for the elections that are in Nigeria right now, it's either you're very popular and have the money, or you have one strong man behind you. Now I asked her, what about strong women? I mean, when people talk about godfathers and, you know, is it something we should even embolden? But let's see if it comes to that, do you think that we need to begin to create women agencies around women, strong mentors, to build the roadmap towards the next elections?
Yeah, it's very, very important. It's very, very important. You will see the question sometimes I ask is, we shouldn't just say also just finance. There are other factors. Because we have women who have money, who should not even have a problem to go campaigning. They don't have that kind of problems. But maybe gender-based violence is discouraging them. Maybe party politics is discouraging them. Maybe the outcomes of the elections are also discouraging them. For instance, if I run an election and I know I won and the seats were taken or one thing or the other. It doesn't encourage me, to come back. And it also doesn't encourage people who want to finance me
Again.
Again.
Yeah.
So what I think, having those strong women who can stand and say, we understand that if we don't have women sitting at the table, we cannot have the kind of development we want. That is, they are standing there not just because they are women or not just because they want to support women, but because they understand that our development depends upon men and women taking the right decisions. And men cannot take the right decision for women when women are not sitting in the room. You can't decide for me. It's said that whatever you do for me without me may surely become against me. So we need those strong women. We need those strong agencies, and we need to kill this myth that is going on that women don't agree. Women
don't support each other.
Women don't support each other. Women don't vote each other. It's not true. If I'm sitting where I'm sitting, a woman helped me. When I came to this country, the then Minister of Women's Affairs, Dame Pauline Talen, helped me to understand the situation, helped me to open doors for me, helped me to take my hand and go to places. That is a woman supporting another woman. So Absolutely. I don't understand. So I think it's very, very necessary for us to have those women coming up, standing up, and saying we are going into this thing, not because it's our party politics, not because our party has said it's going to do this, but because we know this is the way towards sustainable development. So we are standing up. We need it.
Okay, so I hear you loud and clear. I'm excited. I have hope, and I see light at the end of the tunnel. Then on one hand, I'm a bit jittery when I hear things like it will take another 100 years to bridge the gender equality gap. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to live up to 100 years, but will it ever come close enough to our timelines? I mean, how do we look at the gains to build towards that time? Is it possible for us to do anything to lessen those years? Is it measurable?
Yes. Can you still reflect when this movement started in the 18-something? At that time, women were even property. They said women were property. And because women were property, they couldn't vote. They say women cannot vote. Property cannot vote. We have moved very far. We have had head of states who are women. We have had great women who have brought great results. I can see all of them here. I was even asking you about Amina Mohammed.
Yes, yes.
In fact, she sitting at the UN there has actually transformed a lot of things. So we have many things working for us. It's not that everything is against us. Okay. We have policies, we have laws, we have legislations. They are not complete. Nigeria itself has ratified 75% of all judicial texts that protect and promote women's rights. So there are things that are there. Look at the private sector. We have 22% of CEOs of private enterprises who are women and who are doing well. So there are many things. Look at our educational level. You have professors, and we have so many things working for us. What we need is to be intentional, that our leaders, there should be political will. They should be intentional in saying this thing is no longer a matter of tribe. It's no longer a matter of political parties. It's no longer a matter of where I come from or of religion. It's a matter of our life, our very future, our survival, our life. That is what it means. So if they see it that way and they put their energies, I tell you, we will not need 100 years.
Yes, yeah.
I believe also that we should also look at, are we funding the right things? Are we investing in the right things? Because if we answer that question, we may discover, because we did a study looking at corporate social responsibility. How is the corporate social responsibility that is given by a private enterprise, how is it bringing gender equality? One of the things we saw was that what they are funding, what they are financing, cannot bring gender equality. So we need to actually ask ourselves, are we funding the right thing? Are we financing the right thing? So what I'm saying is that we should actually go all out and invest massively for gender equality and women's empowerment. Because one of the problems is that when you talk about gender, when you talk about the issues of women, they will give you 1 million, say, okay, take this 1 million, go and try. But when they are talking other things, they talk in terms of billions. So what I'm saying is that we can narrow the gap, we can accelerate, and we can reduce the time. And I believe, and we have young women who believe in the cause, and we have men that are he for she's network. So I believe we can shorten that time, but we have to be intentional. They have to be political will.
My faith now has a basis to believe, so thank you for that. All right, so let me get you, I mean, elections are knocking on every door. 2027, I mean, we have conventions for the APC happening in the next couple of hours today, and we've seen a lot of cars, you know, a lot of young men. I didn't see quite a few of the women, but I saw a lot of young men in buses and all that. But ahead of the next election in 2027, what are your expectations for Nigeria and its women at this moment? Actually,
I'm expecting a lot from Nigeria. First of all, Nigeria is a giant of Africa. There are many countries looking up to Nigeria in different sectors of development, saying we want to see how Nigeria, if they go this way, we can benefit from this. There are so many things that if Nigeria takes the leadership, other countries are going to actually benefit. And that's why Nigeria is very important for the UN. So we are actually expecting that Nigeria will go a step further to implement what they have ratified, what they have as policies. I'm expecting that the bill will be passed. I'm expecting that the president, our first lady, will continue to put their support behind that bill. And I'm expecting more women to be voted. I'm expecting that more women will have more seats. I'm expecting that this country is not only going to end at 2030, but will be aiming at a parity. Absolutely. It's possible. The political parties can do it if they want, because the political parties that align women inside the electoral list, if APC decides, you see, if APC decides that, see, we are going to go for 50-50, what will stop them? If Labour decides we are going for 50-50, what will stop them? If ADC, PDP. So the political parties can bring a change if they want to do it.
Indeed, and I think that's a lot of giving Nigerian women have given. I mean, in the space of 2 to 3 years, some months now, a lot of giving to advocacy has done. The UN Women has done fantastically well, pushing the voices, you know, for all the seminars, the engagement, the dialogue. And I know it mustn't have been an easy feat trying to, you know, pull your political gloves together to get the voices out there. So we thank you for that. And I mean, from all of us here on Gender Agenda, we want to give us something in the spirit of giving to gain. We don't want to gain, we want to give you, because you've been giving us. And this is not much. I do a little baking at my time, so I brought you a bit of my sponge cake. So this is
really great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much.
And I also want to thank you for what you've been doing for women.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you.
And you encouraged me, because, you know, when I started this work 40 years ago, and I thought that by this time we'll be enjoying, but my hope this time is on you young women who are around us, and I'm comforted somehow saying, even if I leave without seeing what I was looking for, at least we have young, capable women who are taking the baton, and things are going to be better.
Thank you so much. So God helping us. Thank you. We've been talking to an amazing woman this afternoon, Beatrice Ayong, country representative to Nigeria and the ECOWAS for the UN Women. And she says, don't rest on your oars. We may not be where we want to be, but we're certainly not where we used to be. And in her words, and I would quote her, she says, let it be that the reserve seats will be passed so that Nigerian women can really have a seat at the table. The convention is up. Let's even start placing them within the political parties to give them some sort of buffering to have that voice amplified. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you too.
All right, from me, I would say that it's not yet over till it's over, but I will say to you that fingers crossed that bill will be passed. I know you have a bit of, you know, that pensive, but I promise you, something will give. My name is Adora Sydney Jack, and to all Nigerian women, keep giving, keep showing up, and trust me, we will gain that parity somehow, some way, someday. Goodbye for now.
Fellow Nigerian women, the time is now. As we approach the 2027 elections, I urge you to wake up, stand up, and take your rightful place in politics. Your participation at all levels is crucial to advance women inclusion in politics in order to shape our nation's future. Let's break barriers, challenge stereotype, and demand representation. Together, we can create positive change and build a better Nigeria. Let's join hands to support the Special Seat Bill, the bill that seeks to set aside exclusive seats for women in the 2 chambers of the National Assembly and the state assemblies. Advocate with the hashtag HR1349, hashtag Special Seat Bill. Thank you very much.
All around the world, women are longing to be free, no longer in the shadows, forced to stay behind, but side by side in true equality.